Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's The Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Merry Christmas, friends. Thank you for joining us on another episode of The Good Brothers. Not just any episode, it is our Christmas special, and I am joined by the one, the only, the Good Brother himself. Alex, how's it going?
How's it going, Good Brothers? Good to be back.
Merry Christmas, Good Brother. It is a very fun show. Let's get right into it. You weren't here last week. Everybody's been waiting. If you missed it, I reviewed Star Wars The Last Jedi. I gave you all my thoughts, spoiler heavy. You could go back and check that out. But right now, you're here. Alex, I got the floor. Take it away. Whatever you want to do.
Well, first of all, let me state that your review was wrong and mine was right, just like always. So I apologize to everyone who listened last week and had to hear all that. Here's the real review for The Last Jedi and why it's one of the top 3 Star Wars movies of all time, in my opinion. I think it does a great job blending the prequels with the classics, and I think it does a good job of giving us a little taste of both. First of all, we get Mark Hamill back, America's sweetheart. He's a darling. Like, he's just a great human. He's electric in the screen. Every scene he's in is perfect. Rey, all these new characters are great. We get more Poe this movie, and Poe turns out to actually be Han Solo. Like, first movie, we get the hint that, like, okay, this is your next Han Solo. This movie, they're like, no, like, he's awesome. Let me see. Spoiler, we get Yoda back, and personally, he's my favorite Star Wars character of all of them. So, like, maybe that's what helped me this movie, but I walked out of it, and I just had such a fun time with it. Like, I liked Force Awakens, but I agree it was a little bit of a rehash. I think this one took so many chances. It made Kylo Ren the bad guy we've wanted. Like, we haven't seen a bad guy like this in Star Wars, so, like, such a vulnerable yet relatable yet evil guy where we're rooting for him. At the same time, he's pure evil. Even his mother knows he's evil. His uncle knows he's evil. He killed his father. Like, but yet they sold us. Adam Driver did such a good job selling us of like, hey, he could turn out pretty good actually. When at the end of the day, no, he's evil. He's in it for himself. But I'll admit the negatives. The Finn and Rose story did not. I don't want to say it was unnecessary, but looking back at that movie, if you kind of look at the ending of where it goes with Benicio del Toro selling them out and they have to do a whole new plan, you could have got rid of their story and you still would have the same results. And that, to me, that kind of like, well, then what did we really watch? Because if they were out of the movie, everything happens the exact same way still. But I get what they're doing. It was more of a setup for like how people believe that aren't the main 3. Like, you have this girl, Rose, her sister dies in the beginning for the rebellion. Like, she takes it serious. And I guess the whole movie is just about hope. Right. Growing old, accepting your age, accepting your role in the world. And I think the message is great. Like, it's amazing to me how decisive this movie was, because I thought it was amazing. And I thought there was barely any negatives about it. And it's weird. It's like the joke we made. It's like, change it too much, people are mad. Not change enough, people are mad. So, like, I don't know where people... Last one was too similar. This one's not similar enough. Like, I think at this point, it's just the era we live in with Twitter and all these reviews, I mean, including us. Like, who are we? At the end of the day, is go make your own opinion. If you like someone, if you trust someone, listen to what they say. Don't take it to heart. But, if you respect, like, someone like you, Mike, and someone respects that, like your friend Lewis and Kelsey, then if you said, hey, it's pretty good, go watch it, use that and make your own opinion after.
Right.
But we've talked about how this whole reviewing system has been going, and we're going to get into it more next week's episode, but it's crazy to me how I thought this was one of the best Star Wars movies ever.
So let's go ahead. Let me bounce these off of you to see your thoughts now that we've had some time to digest everything. Did the humor land for you?
Yes.
Did you like the Snoke storyline?
Yeah, because it proves that Kylo Ren is the bad guy. Like, we don't need a ruler. We don't need a Sith Lord all the time. Like, no, he's the badass. Like, he's the guy. This other dude was just trying to manipulate him and got taken for it.
Did you like the Princess Leia, General Leia?
I knew that was going to come up, and yeah, I loved it. For the pure fact that, like, yeah, looking back, you're like, well, that's kind of crazy. She's fine, but, like, one, we needed to see her use the Force finally.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see it like everyone else, how they did it. And I think it's just Carrie Fisher sells you on everything she does, and you bought it. Because I think you and me were the same reaction when they blew it up. We're like, oh, my God, did they do it?
And then they go away from it.
Even though we knew they don't kill her in this movie, we believed it for this split second. We're like, wow, they did it. Like, and we knew they didn't. They said they didn't. They said they weren't. If she was alive, she'd be in episode 9. Like, they had told us this, and they sold us on the fact she's dead. I love the music. Because remember, people, like, they're Jedi. They're superheroes, basically. Yeah, like, and like even the Force goes with Luke at the end. Like, they took some chances, and I think, to me, they worked. And I'd rather see them go in this direction, whether or not that's what everyone wanted, whether or not you probably could have got there a little simpler. I like that they took these chances, because now I know that going forward, I'm like, we're not getting stale. We're changing. We got something going on in Star Wars again.
Did Luke Skywalker's journey and his ending and just his whole character arc in The Last Jedi, did it land for you?
Yes. I think it was perfect because it shows he's aging, like shows you growing up and getting accustomed to your role in the role. And Yoda says it best. He's like, you're only defined what your teachings are. Mm-hmm. Like everything else is just there, but like your legacy will be what you've taught and what they do from now on. So your Padawans, basically. So whatever Rey does, that's his legacy now. And it worked for me because I'm like, we hadn't seen him in forever. He gets a lot of screen time. It wasn't cheaped out. It wasn't like he gets a lot. It's his movie, really. And I love the whole universe of like he's a legend. And like people still talk about his stories and him and what he's done. And like obviously it ends with, it's such a good ending of like, unlike an Empire where I think it gets a little drowery, just a little too much, but we've talked about that. I think this one was so hopeful of like, you know what? It's going to be okay. Like the universe believes again.
Do you think that this movie spent too much time trying to be different that it almost took away from, the whole... No.
I think Rian Johnson did what he was supposed to do. And I think he did it great. I think, again, you're never going to win with everyone. That's just the way these movies are nowadays. Like, these movies have taken a life of their own. It's their own universe. It's their own thing. So you're never going to get 100%. It's just impossible nowadays. Because either it's too classic for the new people or too prequelish for the old people. And I thought this did a great job blending both. And, like, you got something for both. Remember, these are family films, too. So, like, they have to address to, like, not just people in their 20s or their 40s or 60s, but they got to go to people who are under the age of 10 or 12. And they do have to sell toys. Like, I like Porgs. I thought Porgs were fine. Like, I didn't think it was in the movie to an obnoxious point of, like, oh, my God. Like, but we get what they're doing. Right. We know it's to sell toys. And that's not the worst thing in the world. Who cares? Like, they're better than Ewoks.
Yeah, sure.
At least they didn't change the plot of the story or anything. Like, and I love Ewoks.
So let's, moving forward, what do you think is episode 9? Like, where do you think Leia is killed off in the
Here's
opening
what
brawl?
I think. I think that this movie, what makes it one of my favorites is that they basically gave a big middle finger to the audience said, stop guessing. Yeah. Because guess what? It doesn't matter. Watch the movie, get trapped in the universe, because none of your guesses are going to be right. Because no one guessed any of this. No one. No one guessed, like, these force powers that were coming. No one guessed, like, who snuck? Oh, he's dead. Who cares? Well, who's Rey's parents? No one. It doesn't matter. They're drunks.
I think I said this and I think they're going to come back to that.
I think they could. And I'm torn because if it's like if it's Obi-Wan or something, I'm pretty happy. But at the same time,
I think it might end. She might be a solo.
I like the idea that like she's not. I like the idea she's just a person.
I do agree with that
because it kind of shows you that like, hey, anyone in this universe can be somebody.
As it should be. That's what I hate about the prequels.
I think that's what makes it good. And I think that's. But they've already kind of hinted. I think they don't know. I really don't think they know. I think they're still debating whether or not they can retcon it because it's Kylo Ren, so he could be lying to her.
So knowing what you know now. Would you want Episode 9 to be a Rian Johnson film or a J.J. Abrams film?
I prefer Rian Johnson.
Interesting.
But I think it's a good mix because obviously he wrote some of it. He's involved in a lot of it. I think Episode 9 is going to be great. I think this is going to be one of those instances where the Part 3 is the best one. Because I think we're going to get a mix of both. Now they know exactly what works and exactly what doesn't work. The chances they took, they're like, okay, that one paid off great. This one maybe not as much. Maybe we do need to lower the flying in space thing, or maybe we do need to lower the humor a smidge. But this worked. This was great. These forced conversations were the best part of the movie. Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley are the future of everything.
I said this in the earlier review. You can actually check back on our YouTube and all our other at SoundCloud and iTunes that I thought the movie went from being a good Star Wars movie to a great Star Wars movie. As soon as the Force scene where Snoke connects them, we find out that Snoke is the one doing it, but connects Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley together as Kylo and
their conversations are just so great, and they're so innocent. The chemistry's great. I love the part. He's like, can you see what I see? Like, what do you see? Like, they're trying to figure this out because they don't know. but they're just going with it and they're talking. And like I love after she goes to the cave and she's talking, you're like, oh, she's talking to Luke. She's talking to Kylo Ren. And I love that because I'm like, it's a weird chemistry where it's like not necessarily a sexual chemistry, but it could be. And not necessarily a brother or sister. Like you can really run a lot of ways with it. Like you said, maybe she is a Solo somehow, and like which I don't like that at all because then there's a lot more. There's more questions than answers. Like, well, Carrie Fisher, like, what? Why'd you guys abandon her? And this and it doesn't make as much sense. Like I think at this point it has to it's got to be Obi-Wan. If it's not drunks, it's Obi-Wan, and I prefer it just be. No, her parents were drunks and sold her.
Yeah, at this point, that's what I'd rather.
Like, and that's because that's relatable. Yeah. That's sad. That's a good story of like, no, she was just sold. She was abandoned, and she rose up.
So, what do you think the next 3 Rian Johnson films are going to be? We'll find out soon enough.
I think that they're basically telling fans like, stop trying to guess because you're not going to guess right. It's not going to be Knights of the Old Republic, but it might be similar. It might be the same thing, like kind of like how Logan was with the old man Logan, the comic, where it's like, yeah, we took the skeleton of it, but it's very different. We put a bunch of different parts on it. I think that's what it's going to be. They're going to grab all this old stuff from the Knights, and that's going to be the movie, but it's not going to be what we think it's going to be. It's going to be something completely different with the skeleton of that old stories. But I'm excited. Like, again, like Star Wars is just so much fun to watch in theaters and like
being part of that.
Like, again, like atmosphere. It's definitely a movie you watch twice. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, if you don't watch it twice, you're not going to get it, because that's no good movie should be like that.
Right.
But I think it's good to know that if you watch this twice, you're going to like it more and more. And you haven't seen anyone watch it twice and say they didn't love it even more. Like, their grades went up a whole point.
Now,
what'd you give it? What was your score?
I gave it. Because
you angered me, so I probably threw my phone.
I gave it 4 out of 5 pizzas.
That's not enough.
I had it ranked. I guess just really fast we could go through the rankings. I have it Empire at 1. I have Rogue One at 2. I have A New Hope at 3. Return 4. Episode Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, and then I guess you could put Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
See, I go Return of the Jedi is my number 1 of all time because it ended the original trilogy. Then I go New Hope and Last Jedi are pretty close. Like Last Jedi, I think if I watch it again, it might be my second favorite of all time.
I can see that.
And then Empire is the 4, and then Revenge of the Sith, Rogue Ones, so on and so forth. But like I think Last Jedi is definitely me.
Yeah. How many porgs?
How many porgs? Cooked or non-cooked? Because if they're cooked, I can cut them.
Well, it depends.
Let's go cook, because then I can cut them up.
Yeah. Out of 5.
5.
You give it a 5. It's a 5.
Because there's at least 4 or 5 Star Wars movies.
This is your second 5 of Star Wars.
I think it's 3. It could be the second. Because I thought I gave Return and New Hope 5s, but one of those might have been a 4.5, 4.7. But this is a 5. Like this is. It's everything you want about Star Wars.
Do you think they're going to capitalize, unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, with the porgs? Like, are we going to see? Are we going to see them in Episode 9?
See, the difference is like porgs weren't, and it's better than Ewoks, and I love Ewoks, but it's like they weren't part of. They were just a background character. They didn't change the story. A porg, Chewie eating a porg, or Chewie having one in his cockpit, like that didn't change the story. It's not like they like bit some wires and blew up the Death Star and killed some stormtroopers.
Right.
Like BB-8 did, and again, I love BB-8. Maybe he did a little too much in this movie, but I like that. I like that he did a lot. Like,
I hated
droids are cool.
No, I agree. I hated Benicio del Toro, and I hated.
I like Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. I love Benicio del Toro.
I think he comes back big in part 3. He's their Lando. Like I think he's him as a Lando, where he's like, he's not bad, he's not good, he's just trying to live.
I guess, but I guess it's hard.
And again, it goes back to that storyline. Like that storyline could have been cut, and the movie doesn't change at all.
It doesn't change, and I said that in
and whether that's good or bad, I liked it because the turn of it was like, man, no matter no, they didn't do it. Like they went through this whole mission with these 2 people, they still failed.
So you know what, Alex? I got a chance on the last episode to kind of just give my final thoughts leading into it. We got Han Solo coming up. We know we got Episode 9 coming up.
Solo, actually.
Yeah, we got the Solo film.
For the Han.
And then we have Episode 9. We know we had 3 films coming from Rian Johnson.
Did we confirm the Obi-Wan prequel? Is that confirmed, or
or
it's still the worst kept secret in Hollywood?
Yeah, it's the worst.
I feel like it's set unless Solo bombs. Because if Solo bombs, then I don't think we get it. But if Solo's just good, like it should be, or even great, I think they're gonna start. They're gonna start throwing them out there.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Hot take. I really don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I've been simmering on this for about a week and a half now.
Mercado Airwaves is brought to you by supporters at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333.
Since The Last Jedi came out, and all the hype that was behind it, we gave it high scores. We love it. Do you now believe which will be better now? Does The Last Jedi end up becoming better than Avengers Infinity War? Because you're talking about two of the most hyped trailers of the last 10 years that are not Star Wars The Force Awakens. So, Last Jedi, in your opinion, lived up to the preview, lived up to the hype. Will Avengers Infinity War, under the same Disney banner, will live up to that, to the hype?
Problem is, and I'm going to say this now so it's out in the open, there's no way Avengers Infinity War lives up to the amount of hype it's going to set. And it's doomed by its own doing. It's because if that movie comes out and it's a 99, that's a failure because it's not 100. And they're telling you it is 100. And it's not going to be 100. It's impossible to be 100. Even the first Avengers wasn't 100, but we didn't have that expectation. Like, it's not set up for that. Is it going to make $1 bajillion? Yes. Is it going to be very highly rated? Probably, unless something bar none. I don't see it happening. But will it live up to the expectations we're setting for it? Absolutely not. Because it is an obnoxious, and I feel bad because I don't feel bad actually because they set this. They're hyping us up like it's this, but there's just no way. Like let's not lie. Obviously Civil War wasn't Avengers. The last Avengers movie, it was okay.
Age of Ultron, yeah, it was just okay.
And again, we've had the discussion. Doctor Strange, it was okay. Guardians, it was okay. Thor was good. It was funny. It wasn't game changing. A lot of these movies, they haven't had. Civil War was probably the last legendary movie they've had.
Yeah.
It's just
and they got Black Panther coming out in 60 days.
That can hype you up, but that can also make it worse of wow, look how good this small story was. We get to this big one and we're going to be like, it was great. It wasn't perfect. And that's the problem is I think it's just unrealistic to expect what the trailer's offering us because the trailer's 2 minutes.
I think it's really crazy. And I can't believe
do you think it's going to live up to the amount of hype we give it? Or is it you think like me, it's impossible? It's not their fault. It's just impossible.
It's impossible to live up to the hype of Infinity War. I will say this, though.
There's no way. There is no way.
This is the only reason I brought this up. Star Wars is a legacy. But the modern day legacy type of thing is this Marvel universe that we've been seeing. Yeah. And we're getting to the point where it's not even an empire anymore. This is like everything that we've 10 years, 22 films, just all coming together. And I wonder if the momentum that Disney has with Star Wars and now this buyout of Fox, if they're just they knew, because these deals don't happen overnight. So they knew that if they just kill it with The Last Jedi and then you kill it with the Avengers within 6 months of each other, I don't think the same year, around the same time that you have Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom coming out, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom coming out, you have Solo coming out, their own film.
Aquaman later in the year.
Aquaman at the end of the year. I believe that they know they have to hit it out of the park.
And here's the problem, and I'm a little confused why Disney's even doing this, is Solo's coming out a few weeks after Avengers. Yeah.
Which is weird
to me. I get you were because look, it didn't work out too well for Justice League with Thor, and that was battling companies, and this is the same company.
They must know something though. They must have something.
And we obviously we go to a lot of movies, but some people only do watch a movie once every 2 months because it's expensive. Right. It's not cheap.
Right.
And so if they're I already saw a superhero movie. So if they're talking to us saying, hey, I already saw a superhero movie. I don't know if I want to go see a Star Wars movie, because they're big blockbuster movies. And that's just weird to me. I don't know where they're going with this. I get they want to make a lot of money, but it probably would have been smarter to spread out just a little bit more. I mean, you got Deadpool 2 coming out this year also. 7 X-Men movies, which, they never destroy anyone, but they're always pretty good box office showings. Any superhero movie nowadays is pretty decent box office, unless they're the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, but it's just intense. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about the deal about Disney and Fox, and the fact that we're sitting here now on Christmas, and it's a real thing.
18. A lot can happen in 18 months. Though,
we have no. I agree, but exactly, a lot of things can happen in 18 months. So who knows what they have worked out? Who knows what kind of plans have changed since since this deal has been in the works for months already, and we're talking about something that probably takes about 2 years.
But think about this: what if Avengers comes out and it's the first divisive movie between critics and fans, where they're like, it wasn't as good as we thought, and then Solo comes out and they're like, it was okay. At that point, if you're Disney, you're like, oh man, this hasn't happened before. Like, really? Like, but we're not perfect, and I think that's the problem. Is I'm like, Disney's not perfect. It's just the package is perfect. Yeah. But if we go back one by one, and we'll do this on the show and go back to all these we'll do it before Avengers in May. We'll go through every single MCU movie. There's probably a handful of amazing, a lot of great. I think there's a ton of mediocre. And there's more. They're probably more bad than we tend to remember.
But they get the benefit
with those rose-tinted glasses.
But there's so many, and you're also. It's kind of like the road of if you're a wrestling fan. It's like when a storyline starts off in WrestleMania 30 and ends at WrestleMania 31. It's like the build. Some of it was poo-poo, but some of it was also really good, and it accumulated.
It depends. Does the ending mean? Does the ending make up for the beginning?
I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll find out. So before we go ahead and get this Christmas special, we kind of went off there a little bit. Let's bless you. Let's go ahead and. I was able to give my final thoughts of The Last Jedi, what I thought about the universe, what I thought about it being divisive and moving forward. So why don't you go ahead and just give us your last thoughts of Star Wars The Last Jedi.
Must watch in the theaters. One of the best Star Wars films ever. Great new characters. Great use of the old characters. Must watch more than once. Not to make it better, but just treat yourself because it's a great movie. Like it's the best movie of the year. Like it's the best movie of the year. It's easy. And I liked a lot of movies this year. We'll talk about that next week. But it was my favorite movie of the year. I can't praise it enough. Like, I would need a whole 2 hours to go through scene by scene of why this movie is putting Star Wars in the right track. Because I feel like Force Awakens brought us back, but this movie's like, hey, we got a lot more to come. Like, this universe just getting started. And that's great for a fan like us, who's young but not too young, old but not too old. It's exciting to see where this is going the next 10 years, 20 years. So overall, must watch. Loved it. You'll love it too.
It's time to talk about some Christmas movies coming up next.
Yeah, Star Wars is a Christmas movie. Christmas special.
Oh, yeah. You just ruined Star Wars. We'll be back.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333. Mercado Airwaves is brought to you by supporters at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves.
All right, Alex, so as you and I watched the Christmas tradition of the NBA on ABC, I almost said NBC, that's how old I am.
What an overrated tradition at this point, right?
Seriously, but let's...
Nothing else on
So, with this time of year, there's always the time where you want to sit down, relax, and you want to watch some of these instant classics, some of these favorites. Right away my mind goes to A Christmas Story. When we think of Christmas movies, what comes into mind?
The problem is there's so many now, and like... People really jump on this. Like, the joke is Christmas starts early every year.
Yeah.
Used to be Thanksgiving, week after, so on and so forth. I mean, basically after Halloween, like, we gotta skip Thanksgiving. And they're like,
that's how strong Halloween is.
The Christmas music and the shows, and obviously everyone does their 25 days, and then it goes to their 6 months of Christmas specials, and
the 6 month,
Probably what sticks out to me is A Christmas Story, just for the pure fact that they play it so much. And I guess we can start there with talking about is like, what do you think people's fascination with A Christmas Story is? Because, like, if you look at the movie, it's not a good movie. It's actually a very outdated movie. But I think that's what people like about it. It kind of goes to a simpler time where, like, people weren't so offended by everything.
Yeah, and the tropes...
Even though they should have been, kind of.
But the tropes are all there, too. It's like, think about the dad. How, like, when you're a kid, everybody's dad is the big, tough... rugged person
with a heart of gold.
Yeah, and then your mom is, the caretaker, and like there's a lot of you have your annoying little brother, or like you have your annoying friends, or it's like you always have these when with his Lone Ranger,
his heroes,
like shows, his imagination of shooting the bandits. Like,
and I think that's why we like it, is because we can relate. Like, I think everyone can relate to a sense of like.
The people who love that movie do.
Modernized.
Yeah.
And I think more people love it than hate it. Like, obviously, the Chinese restaurant's a little racist.
Yeah, there's a lot of racism in it.
There's not a lot of color in the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was on purpose. I just think it was kind of the time. And like, there was a lot of... it's got a lot of heart to it. Like, there's a lot of random sweet moments in that movie. especially with the mom. Like I love when he gets in the fight.
Yes,
and the mom comes from me. You're like, that's nice. Like she like, it's a nice scene, and the little brother's crying.
Oh, he's gonna kill Ralphie.
And like literally, like, and then he's so happy his mom didn't snitch, and like, and then at the end with the gun and his dad, like, I don't know. It's just it's one of those movies where I think you don't have to watch straight through. No, it's kind of like a play almost, where like, here's you can watch this 15 minutes, you can watch this 15 minutes, you can watch this 15 minutes. So it's almost like acts and scenes where like. I haven't watched all the way straight through in years, but I've probably seen the whole movie at least twice already today from 15 minutes here at the school. Right,
just putting it all together.
Like, I just walked upstairs to say hi to Mom, and it was the classroom scene where he's daydreaming.
Yeah.
Like, Ralph, A+++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++++ you'll shoot your eye out with Santa.
I think I fell asleep watching. I fell asleep right when he's like, my mom didn't snitch on me, and like his dad is talking about the Bears. It's like more like the Chicago Chipmunks, am I right?
Like exactly, and the dad's so funny. Yeah. Like he's such like not Clark Griswold. Like we'll get to Christmas, but like more of a real life one where he's just corny, but not funny corny. He's just kind of like saying lame dad stuff like that. Like, but it's funny. And like I don't know, I guess we have a soft spot for it because we watch it so much,
right?
And we quote that movie all year long.
Let me ask you this: what do you think makes a good Christmas movie?
It depends what kind of movie. It's got to have heart.
I think that's it, right? It's more than anything.
Because like one of my favorites is The Grinch, the one with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it's weird because when it first came out, people were a little question mark with it, and now it's become a Christmas classic.
But I think that's because our generation loved it.
I mean,
kids.
they were even making like obviously Jim Carrey. Like now he's making all these documentaries of the behind the scenes of when he went crazy. He did the one with Andy Kaufman. Now he's doing the one with The Grinch that's coming out.
Oh, that sounds great.
All the behind the scenes of that hasn't been released, and I'm like, it's crazy to think like how. When this movie first came out, we loved it, but a lot of people didn't because it's a classic.
I remember the hype, though.
I'll say it. The cartoon is fine.
I love the cartoon.
It's
the cartoon
fine.
To me, that's the only cartoon that Dr. Seuss was ever produced. Dr. Seuss that was good.
Like it was fine to me. Like I there's not enough there for me. There's not enough heart there. Like Jim Carrey really sells the heart. I like the backstory. The humor's great in that movie. It's so the adult humor in there.
A lot of great adult humor.
I love it. Like I love the adult humor. It's such a quotable movie when he's going through his little playbook, his little plan book.
He's like can't skip the day.
Sit and loathe in pain. Can't skip. I can't keep canceling.
I can't keep canceling myself again.
The dog is good. The little Cindy Lou, and it's like the heart of it at the end where he's like, I'm leaking.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
He's feeling and like I love that movie. Like the movie. Really
but I love Jim Carrey.
I love like because like he gets shunned obviously. His little kid throws the tree. I hate Christmas.
Yeah.
I just love it. Like, and Jim Carrey does have a lot of heart. Because, like I said, I think that's what separates all these movies is that those scenes of like, wow, like, makes your heart feel warm. You're like, gives you that Christmassy feeling of like, love everyone, hope, dream. And then the 26th comes and then life kicks you back in the butt. So,
right.
What's another one? What do you got?
Oh, man. One of my favorites, Die Hard.
Okay, see, I thought you were going to go something different, but we go to Die Hard already.
One of my favorites.
And the argument's always, is it a Christmas movie? And I'll argue with everyone. I'm like, it's more of a Christmas movie than a lot of Christmas movies.
It's way more of a Christmas movie.
Because guess what? It's set on Christmas. The whole story is like, people are like, well, the movie can go on if it's not Christmas. I'm like, no, it's a Christmas party. The only reason he's there is for a Christmas party.
For the Christmas party. It's just on Christmas.
I think you can tell it makes us angry when people say it's not a Christmas movie. I'm like, guys, like, I know it's actually, but like, it's totally a Christmas movie. Just like Gremlins. Those are Christmas movies.
Oh my goodness! I mean, there's another one. Gremlins. Just even though because the other movies have kind of done this, but Gremlins doesn't need to be on Christmas, but this one does because how does he get Gizmo?
Exactly. Like you can't. Could we rewrite the whole thing and it not be on Christmas? Be like a staff party?
If you want to be
the way
heartless.
The movie's made, they're Christmas movies, and I love those Christmas movies.
I think one of my favorites has always been A Christmas Vacation. Now I don't think. You know what? I'll take that back. I think it probably is the best of the National Lampoon Vacation movies. I definitely think it's better than European Vacation. And I think it's probably better than Family Vacation.
I like Vegas best, but that's because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Because it's so Vegas bad, it's good. Like, because it's at that point, at that point, it's such a rip on itself that I love it because like it knows how bad it is at that point, and it's still going. But Christmas classic, Christmas one is
Nightmare Before Christmas. Do you consider that a Christmas movie?
See, Die Hard's more of a Christmas movie than Nightmare Before Christmas.
But like the climax of the movie takes place on Christmas.
I consider
it's all about getting to Christmas.
But that's also it's in Halloween Town.
So maybe
it's a Christmas movie. But again, if we're going back to this, Die Hard's more of a Christmas. Die Hard's still more of a Christmas movie than a lot of.
I don't disagree with that.
Movies.
So
but yes, Die Hard Christmas is both. Like it's one of those special rare movies where it's a Halloween and Christmas movie.
Interesting. Now what's a Christmas? I'm sorry. Before I get to this, one of my favorite Christmas movies that has finally become a classic, Elf.
That was an instant classic.
You think so? I think it took people a little bit.
No, I think Will Ferrell made that.
You think so?
Like, that's always been.
I love
popular.
that. I think that movie is
maybe
so
now that
good.
it's aged, like now it's a super classic, but it's always been it was pretty much a hit right when it came out. We had it on DVD. We watched it all the time. You know, again, another quotable like "Bye, buddy. Hope you find your dad." Like those are some scenes like what is it like? But in the Up, what's your favorite color? Like, there's so many quotes you can do in that movie.
It's a Francisco.
Like, you can quote that movie so much, and people will like quote it back to you. You know, like, and again, it's got a good heart of like, I like the father-son story. I like the Santa believing. Like, again, like even these comedies, like as long as you have that heart in there, where you're like, okay, like I love the part where they start singing in Times Square. Like, it's so corny, but it's so sweet and it's so nice, and like the whole movie's all humor the whole time. And then it gets to the end, and you're like, okay, there it is. Like, I like that. Like, the brother and buddy relationship's good.
Elf is a good one.
Making the dad pay attention. Like, I don't know. I love that. Elf is amazing.
Do you have any that you dislike that show up a lot throughout the year?
You know, it's not that I dislike them, but some of those old school anime ones.
Yes.
Like, I like the Santas coming to town with, like, Mr. Heat and the Mr. Cold.
Is that what that one's? Okay, yeah. That one's fine.
See, a lot of them blend in together.
Yeah.
I like the little drummer boy was a little weird to me. There's just some that are, like, based, like Rudolph's obviously pretty good. I didn't like it. Some of those things are a little creepy. They don't age well.
They are very creepy.
The dialogue doesn't age well. Again, not a lot of variety in these ones. Jack Frost was okay. Like, there's just a lot of dark in those, and you know, maybe when I watched them as a kid, they kind of freaked me out more than I enjoyed them. But yeah, they're good. But those are the ones that probably like don't stick with me as much. Miracle on 34th Street, a little depressing. Old.
Same.
Like I know that movie through parodies, honestly, like from Married with Children or The Simpsons and stuff. Like I know more about that story through parodies of that story than the actual movie. I've probably seen the movie once.
So what
and
about?
It didn't stick with me. But I remember the story so much because everyone parodies the story, and I like the parodies more because they're funny.
What about movies like Jingle All the Way or The Santa Claus?
See, I never was a big Santa Claus fan.
I like.
I think that was a little too Disney for us. Maybe I guess just me.
I like
Jingle All the Way. It's probably one of the greatest movies ever for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's terrible.
Sinbad's in there. I got a bomb.
Yeah, it's so good.
That was really a bomb?
Yeah.
This place is sick.
Yeah, it's so good. I
love that movie. That movie's great. Like, so many random actors in it. It's just fun. That's a fun one. Those are one of those, like, maybe the heart's not great in that movie because it's pretty obvious, but it's fun. It's a fun Christmas movie of just like, oh, it's Christmas. It's Arnold being Arnold wearing a Turbo Man suit and yelling.
It's really good.
And that was more of a fun one than like a heart-filled one, but I love that one.
So is there anything else that comes to your mind when it
I'm
comes
trying to think movie-wise if we're missing any. We probably are. There's probably a bunch out there.
But I
think we've covered because we kind of put all those in the same category.
Is there anything
obviously our
television?
Parents love the Hallmark ones.
Yeah.
And like I make the same joke every year.
I mean, Netflix has the whole selection now.
I'm like, you know, they end up together. Like, what's that joke? Like, of course Sam is gonna leave the multimillionaire lawyer for the owner of the baked goods shop.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Duh.
In Little Vermont.
Of course she's gonna stay. And like it's funny, but you know, people watch what they want to watch. What else? Any Christmas show episodes?
That's what I was gonna
stick
bring
with
up.
you because like I just saw the Married with Children one where the angel comes and shows him his life.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
one.
a great one.
I remember who the guy actor was. He was pretty famous in the '90s, like real scruffy guy with the weird voice.
Yeah, he played the puppet that was that looks like Mowgli.
Yeah, like he's funny and like he was hilarious. I love that.
I'll look it up later.
Any of the Simpson ones are amazing. Like Simpsons has never done a bad Halloween or Christmas episode.
Friends always was reliable.
Friends was good. I just saw the Holiday Armadillo.
Yeah, Holiday Armadillo.
That one's good with Superman.
Yeah, the Holiday Armadillo.
Superman flew all the Jews out of her. Family Matters. Urkel's had some good ones.
Urkel's got some great ones.
Urkel's got some real good ones, man. Ah, man, all those shows really good. Fresh Prince did okay. Those weren't as good. Those weren't as
I totally spaced out on the one that I was thinking of.
Office?
No.
Office had some decent ones.
Office has some really
Not
good
a big
ones.
Office fan, but they've had some pretty good ones. Trying to think if we're missing any. Family Guy, usually pretty funny. Family Guy's just Family Guy at this point.
It's going to really upset me because I'm going to think of it as soon as the show ends, and I had it on the tip of my tongue.
I'm trying to think of any that I've seen. There was a lot on. Rugrats had a good one.
Rugrats had a really good one.
We had the VHS when they go to the cabin.
That's a great one.
Feeling low by each other to think for each other's gifts, and Angelica gives them back. And see, that one's a good one. See, I like when they have that little heart to it. Even if they're stupid comedies, a little heart won't kill. Scrubs, always heartbreaking Christmas episodes.
I wonder, how many shows, too, just, bank on that Christmas episode.
Oh, you have to, because look at How I Met Your Mother. That's when we found out Robin can't have kids, and guess what?
That's true.
We all shed a tear.
Spoiler alert.
We all shed that tear, and when they get the lights going and she just cries. You're like, oh, that's really depressing.
So, all in all, what are your kind of final thoughts about Christmas movie, where they kind of serve in the community, in the film community, movie community?
I mean, it just goes back to Christmas in general. I think it's fun to get lost in the trance of Christmas. I think we have to be realistic that it's one day, you still got to work the week before, you still got to work the week after, life goes on. And it's a weird time because there's that feeling in the air of man, we should be better and this should be together and stuff. And it's very forced, but maybe that's okay sometimes. Maybe it's okay to force it sometimes. Maybe it's okay to get that feeling. I'm never going to tell people don't get lost in the lights. I personally do not like Christmas music. Yeah, I think it's funny, we're not a super religious family, but the religious Christmas songs are more of my favorites.
Yeah, same here.
I can, because of the NBA, I cannot listen to Mariah Carey's Christmas song anymore. It's classic, I love it, but I can't. It's on too much. And the lights. I love lights. I love Christmas lights. I think even when you walk through some of these lower end neighborhoods, who not lower end, but suburbs or somewhere, there's no big buildings. Man, some of these lights are just amazing.
Yeah,
and I love helping out people and you know how I feel about some people only choosing to do charity at this time. As you should do charity all year at the same time, as long as you're doing it. Right. I'm not going to care your reason. Just as long as you're giving back, you know what? Do what you need to do. If this is the time of year you decide to do it, that's fine. As long as you do something, I guess that's the whole thing. Give back a little bit. As much as you're enjoying the holiday, give back a little bit. Let everyone enjoy the holiday. Don't forget there is a lot of our Jewish friends out there. Everyone's got their own way to celebrate it. And it's a weird 2 weeks, especially going into the next year. It really is a random week we're about to have. I know you go back to work. A lot of people go back to work just to be off very next weekend for the New Year's.
For the New Year, yeah.
Me, I'm going to be cleansing my body to get ready for all the coronas I'm going to to be having.
Yeah, ever since you started last night on all the tamales.
It's still going. Yeah, I got my own jingle bells here.
All right. Well, Alex, you know what? Let's let everybody get back to opening presents, some hot cocoa, and for all you who do not celebrate Christmas, going back to enjoying this holiday season. I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with the damn show.
Oh, no, don't worry. But we're going to do a game.
Oh,
I'm back.
We got more?
We got one game.
Okay, look at that, guys.
We got to make you choose.
We had one more present under the tree. Go for it.
Yeah, this is the one in the back. This is the big box.
Okay.
So we'll do Sophie's Choice. This is the one we did first ever show.
Okay.
And these are some good movies we picked here. And I want Mike to pick one that stays forever and one that is doomed forever. It never can come back. You can never watch it again. No more one viewing.
All right, go for it.
Got it?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
Let's start. Santa's Coming to Town.
Okay.
So Mr. Heat, The Cold Wave.
Yeah.
Or Rudolph.
Santa's Coming to Town.
Yeah, I agree. We were really big Rudolph fans.
Yeah, Rudolph's just fine.
With the dentist kid and the Yeti, Star Wars guy. Yeah.
I don't like it.
Okay, that was pretty.
Yeah.
Is it going Die Hard or Gremlins? I go Gremlins because Gizmo's adorable.
Yeah. No, you know what? I'll go Die Hard.
And Die Hard 2's not that bad.
No, I'll go Die Hard. There's never been a movie like Die Hard.
Gremlins. But you know what? Gremlins 2 is pretty good too. So either way, the sequel's not too bad. That's a rough one. But you're wrong, so it's Gremlins.
Yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street or A Christmas Carol?
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol, yeah.
Christmas
There's a reason it's on.
Yeah, Christmas Story.
Oh, I'm thinking of Christmas Carol, so the Three Ghost one.
Oh, Christmas Carol. Yeah, no, either
Christmas
one.
Carol,
It doesn't
so
matter.
Bill Murray. I go Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray's. Yeah.
I love that
there's
story.
a bunch of them. I like
that story's been redone. I should have put a Muppets Christmas, but okay.
You could have. Yeah, you sure could have.
I didn't think Muppets would have won though. So okay, now Christmas Story. So the one 24 hours or Christmas Vacation.
Wow,
that was tough because Christmas Vacation's a better movie.
Christmas Vacation's a better movie, a funnier movie, but
Christmas Carol's kind of
Christmas Story is the one that you need to watch during this time of year.
Yeah, I go Christmas Story too, just because just a little bit. And the hardest one, I think, Elf or Grinch.
That's an unfair one.
I'm gonna go Grinch just because I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's one of my favorites, so I'm gonna give Jim Carrey that slight edge. but I love Elf. That one's hard. That's why I say Elf for last.
I'll just go Elf
I
because it's
figured
original.
you would. Like,
yeah, just because it's original.
Like it's just
Elf.
it's very tough. That one's a flip a coin.
It's a hard one.
I can live with either. Like I can honestly live with either, and it sucks that I have to get rid of one. But I like the Grinch.
That's all.
Some of that humor is great, but Elf has a lot of good background characters. Yeah, I go Grinch though. Grinch takes it just that little slight edge.
That was a fun one. So, Alex, we were able to talk about Christmas movies, and we got some Star Wars review. I think it's time we get ready for New Year.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to need some time to get ready for that.
Yeah, I bet you will as he drinks another beer. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this holiday special, our Christmas special on The Good Brothers. We really appreciate you guys making us a part of your day. We know this crazy time of year for you to even take a few minutes to listen to us means the world to us. That is a nice Christmas present to us. Alex, any last words for the fine people?
No, just the usual. One down, mark out. If you hear this, that's not Santa. That's Alex carrying the Coronas inside the house for New Year's. So have a good one, everyone.
Load your shotguns. If you hear that, make sure you point it at the chimney because you get a free shot.
Thank God we're in Illinois, not in Texas.
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We will see you on the New Year's episode of The Good Brothers. Good brother, Merry Christmas.
Adios.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves.